Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Sarah here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Abbas, and he's selling his Amazon Associates business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Welcome to the show, Abbas. How are you doing today?
Good evening, Sarah. I'm fine.
Awesome. Good to hear. Well, looking forward to talking a bit more about your business. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. This is an Amazon Associates business in the electronics niche, created in February 2019. The average monthly revenue of the business is $3,096, and it has an average of $3,087 per month in net profit, and that is based on a 5-month pricing period. Included in the sale of the business are domain and all site content files. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47609 to learn more about the business or to unlock the listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing. Now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's dig into the interview. So Abbas, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Well, I started out with online business back in 2012 when I started out as a freelance writer. And later on, I decided to start creating my own businesses because I just had this feeling that, okay, if these people could pay me this much just to write articles for their own sites, that means the sites themselves must be raking in a lot of money. So I decided to do some research on my own, and since then I've decided to start creating my own site. 2013 was when I started my first site. It was not so much of a success, but over the years I decided to learn more about affiliate marketing and precisely Amazon affiliate marketing. So since then, I started out by creating my first set of sites in 2014, 2015. So Amazon niche sites as well. So that was in late 2018 when I decided to sell them off. So when I sold them off, I made a decent amount of money. And since then, I decided to move on to flipping. So since then, my strategy has been to start creating sites and selling them off once they start making decent income.
Very cool. So you got into the online space and now you're at the point where you are flipping businesses and you have your own kind of fleet of businesses that you're running. So what drew you to Amazon Associates as a business model, and why do you think it's a great business model for those interested in online business?
Well, for a good number of reasons, Amazon Associates has been my favorite because, to start with, affiliate marketing is my favorite online monetization model because it comes with number one, you really don't have to have a huge volume of traffic in order to make a lot of money, from affiliate marketing. So digging down, I figured that the Amazon Associates program is even the best because of a number of reasons. For example, Amazon pays you for any product that a buyer clicks on your link and eventually buys on Amazon, even if that product wasn't the original product that you are promoting on your site. So far, the link on your site was clicked on, even if the person didn't eventually buy that product, but ends up buying another product or additional products to that one, you still get your commissions for all the products that the person ends up buying. So I love Amazon because of that. And I also love the transparency of Amazon's tracking system. They never shave your commissions and you see everything in black and white. So that's one of the reasons. Then I also love Amazon because of the availability of a wide range of products for sale. And coupled with the fact that it's one of the best brands, it's one of the most widely trusted brands that people don't hesitate to buy from once they land on the site. And more importantly, Amazon has mastered the art of conversion. So once you get on Amazon's site, you'll see things like customers who bought this also bought this, who bought this item also bought this. You'll see things like there is a newer version of this item. You might be interested in that. You'll see product reviews buyer reviews that shoppers can get to learn more from about the product that they intend to buy. So all of this make the Amazon's website a conversion machine. So for that reason, that's another main reason why I favor Amazon's affiliate program. So that's why. So ever since I started building sites, ever since I pitched my tent with them and started creating sites based on the affiliate program, I've never had any reason to regret that decision. And since then, I've decided I'm not going to back out of the program anytime soon. So that's it.
Okay, yeah, it's a great answer. So why are you selling the business instead of keeping it and growing it?
Well, I favor one thing about me is that I get bored after holding on to something for too long. Even though I have a number of AdSense sites by the side, I have decided to hold on to those ones over the long term because they are not really marketable. Most of them are targeted at a Nigerian audience, and they center on information relating to products and services in Nigeria, people in Nigeria, and things like that. So the average American would not be interested in buying such. The average European would not be interested in buying such sites. So I just decided to hold on to those ones. So I hold on to them over the long term. I don't see myself selling those ones anytime soon because they're actually not so marketable in the international market. But looking beyond that, I decided that I would start flipping sites. So once I work on the site for some time, I just get this kind of boredom. I feel like getting my hands dirty with some new stuff, some new interesting stuff and things like that. So when I looked at that tendency in myself, I figured that the best model for me would just be to start creating sites and selling them off once I think the time is right. So that's why I decided to sell the first set of Amazon niche sites that I created. Then I moved on to this. As a matter of fact, around the time that I created this particular site in question, the one I'm about selling right now, I have also created others along different niches as well. So while my aim is that while this one goes off to another seller, I would have those ones to keep working on. And when those ones also, let me use the word ripen, when they ripen enough for sale, I sell them off while I start creating other ones. I have my jotter and my notepad where I store lots of ideas that I plan to create niche sites around in the future. So that's just my strategy. I create sites and with the sole aim of selling them because I get bored so easily and I really don't see myself being able to, decide to hold on to them. I would lose focus and I wouldn't be able to, and that wouldn't be the best for those sites in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Awesome. So is there anything you learned from this business that you'd apply to future sites or businesses? Or what did you learn from building this that just seemed to really work for you?
Okay, one thing I've come to realize as far as affiliate marketing generally is, the best way to generate traffic is search engine optimization. It's the best way. Once you start getting results from search engine optimization, the results continue to just flow in. And when that happens, the amount of work you need to do on the site starts to reduce. You don't really have to do much on the site in order to keep it growing. So looking at that, I also discovered that one of the best ways to win as far as SEO is concerned is to focus on what most other sites are not focusing on. So my own strategy is this. For example, if other websites are writing on best mini laptops, I prefer to write on best mini laptops for programmers. If other websites are writing on things like best rechargeable lamps, for example, I will think of best rechargeable lamps for large rooms. If others are thinking of best air conditioners, I will think of best air conditioners for small offices and things like that. So that's my strategy. And the good thing about this strategy is that once you craft detailed content around those laser targeted keywords, you discover that within a short period of time, you start ranking, you start getting all the love from Google, all the love that you intended to get.
I understand what you're saying. Like you could talk about the laser targeted keywording. I really liked that notion.
Yeah.
So that's something that you've learned has really worked for you, right?
Exactly. And the good thing is that if, for example, you search for a if you punch in a laser targeted query in Google, and even if a more generalized topic comes on number 1, number 2, number 3, there is high tendency for people to overlook those ones. For the person who is searching, to overlook those ones and click on the exact the topic the title that matches the exact query because they know what exactly they are looking for.
Absolutely. Great. Well, Would you say there's anything you tried that didn't work?
Well, I really don't know of anything that I tried that really worked. I do a mix of a link building, but I really do not place a lot. I try not to sweat so much on link building. I place more emphasis on quality content, and I think that's exactly what has been working for me. That's it.
Okay. Where does the majority of your traffic come from?
My traffic comes from search engine optimization, from search engines majorly, Google, Bing, and the like.
Okay. And what are you currently doing in terms of marketing?
Like I said, I really don't do anything. It's all about search engine optimization. My strategy with my sites generally, I dig up the first set of keywords, I write articles on them, and I publish them and leave the site. So after maybe 1 or 2 weeks, I build a few links to the site, probably from my own sites or from few sites owned by friends of mine. I mean, other friends and my friends in the internet marketing space. So after that, I leave the site and wait for a few weeks to months. Then once I see that the site has started picking up, has started getting some trickles of traffic and things like that, then I add in more content and growing it from there. So that's my strategy majorly. So it takes about 3 months for search engine optimization to start taking effect. And once that happens, I depend solely on that, nothing more. I don't do ads. I don't do anything. I don't even do social media. It's solely search engine optimization.
Okay, great. If you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
If I were to keep this business, I'll just continue with my tempo. I know I can be quite inconsistent when it comes to adding content to my site. For example, as we speak, the last article I added to the site was about 2 months ago, but the traffic hasn't dwindled in any way. And income, even income hasn't dwindled up until this moment. But to your question straight away, if I am to hold on to this site, I'll just continue like I said, add 1 or 2 solid articles a month. Then probably once in every 3 to 4 months, I just add a few backlinks from well-established sites with real traffic. That's it.
Great. What would you say are the biggest risks with the business that a buyer should be aware of?
One of the biggest risks is content becoming outdated. The content on the site can really get outdated. For example, if I have written a post related to a device that has just been released in last year, this year, the best thing to do is that once a new version of that particular device has been released, I need to update that post as due. Then also update the content where necessary, where and how necessary. So if I decide not to do all of this, the post will become outdated and it might start to lose its ranking in the search engine results pages. So that is one of the biggest risks that might come with this business, which the buyer might need to be aware of. Then another thing is mistakes born out of desperation, like things, what they call keyword cannibalization. Keyword cannibalization. For example, you've written a post on, let me cite this as an example, best papers for office work. You've written a good post and it's ranking. Don't make the mistake of writing on best papers for office work in in probably America or something. I'm just bringing those as examples. So once you have a post, don't try to write on a topic that is too closely related to what you have already written. The moment you do that, it's called keyword cannibalization. You publish it. After a while, the new post starts to cancel the SEO authority that the old one has already built, and it's like destructive interference. That's the word. A kind of destructive interference happens between them, and they kind of dilute the power and authority in each other. At the end of the day, neither of the posts will eventually rank. So those are little things that the buyer needs to be wary of.
Yeah, absolutely. That's solid advice. So can you describe the amount and type of work you do on this business for maintenance?
I am. It might interest you to know that I'm a medical doctor. And most of the time I am busy with my work in the hospital as well. So I really do not have enough of free time. But when I'm less busy, I work on my sites. And what I really do for this particular business, what I do in essence is do keyword research. I might do that once. It's not something too frequent. But once I decide to sit down to do keyword research, I might dig up like about 100 keywords, about 100 keywords. I mean, that will suffice me. That will suffice for about 100 posts on the site. So once I have my pool of keywords, I don't have to do keyword research in a long time. So when I'm less busy, I just pick out one of the keywords and I start crafting content on it. After crafting content, I take my time to publish it on the site. So I do that, let's say, writing takes around 3,000 word article for me because I write my contents myself. For me, it takes around, let's say, 4 to 5 hours. So once I'm done with that, I spend another 30 minutes to publish and add the links where necessary and things like that. And that's all. So that's all for just one article. Add one article every 2 weeks. So that's roughly around, let's say, 4 hours every 2 weeks, roughly 4 to 5 hours every 2 weeks. So that's how much of work that I do on the site. That's all.
Okay. And so how much support are you offering buyers?
Well, I understand that the buyer might not understand the concept behind my motive behind setting up the site and how I intend and the kind of strategies that I intend to implement on the site going forward. So I would be on ground to put the buyer through on things like how I dig up keywords, how I craft my content. Just tips and useful advice. Then how to keep growing the site going forward. Things to do to keep growing the site going forward, especially when it comes to details. Details of how I take the steps and things like that. So I would, to make it concrete, straight, I'll be offering support for the buyer for 45-day post-sale support. Let me say 45 days. And preferably it will be via WhatsApp, phone calls, or any other medium that is fine by the buyer.
Okay, great. Now, would you commit to a non-compete?
Definitely. Because I understand that I'm selling my sites. I understand that I intend to sell my site. So I do not even create 2 sites that compete in the same niche. Even if they are both, if 2 sites are in the same niche, I ensure that the topics I focus on site A totally different from the ones that I focus on site B. So I understand what non-compete is. I'm willing to commit to it as far as this particular business is concerned.
Okay, great. Awesome. So a few personal questions. Is there anyone who inspired you while building this business that our listeners might like as well? So that might be podcasts, YouTubers, communities, etc.
Oh, well, I have a lot of mentors as far as building online business is concerned. One of them it's been a long while since I last followed him now, but Zach Johnson. He was a big affiliate marketer, and I think he's still one. Zach Johnson, I really loved him. I learned a lot from him. Then Neil Patel is also one of them. I learned a lot from him as well while I was, coming up as an internet marketer. Then there is Tom Iwa of livingworkbehind.com. I learned a whole lot from him while growing up in internet marketing. Then I can also think of socialtriggers.com, Derek Halpern. Yes, I learned a lot from him as far as the psychology of trying to convince readers. The psychology of writing and writing to engage readers is concerned. I learned a lot from him as well. Then most importantly from the copyblogger.com team, I learned a lot from them as well. So the list is endless. Those are just, I read a lot from established blogs and things like that.
Great. What would you say drove you and motivated you while having this business?
Yes, I just felt like, okay, most of my inspiration come when I'm doing keyword research. I'm doing keyword research for a separate topic. Then I start seeing gold mines in another niche. I start stumbling on different gold mines. So while I was doing keyword research, I just noticed that, okay, these are laser targeted keywords that nobody is writing about. So once I see such kind of keywords, I just Google it. For example, I just see people searching for best fountain pens for CEOs. And I Google the keyword and I see that most of the pages ranking, none of the pages ranking has that exact title. For example, most of them are just having best fountain pens, top rated fountain pens. So none of them is really talking about for CEOs. I just felt, okay, this is a good opportunity. So my concept the motivation to create this site is to focus on electronics and then go for laser targeted keywords that a lot of other sites are not really writing on. Yes, I understand that those longer key phrases have lower search volumes, but rank for. So if a key phrase is generating about 300 searches every month and you are ranking number one, you will make far more money than a more generic key phrase that has about 10,000 searches every month, and you are ranking about number 8, number 9, or even on the second page of the search engine results pages. In the latter case, you might end up earning nothing in years. But with even if it's just 100 searches and you are number one, with Amazon affiliates at your service, you will be making money consistently. So that's my motivation in short.
Great. Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I definitely appreciate your insight on all that. And I just have one final question for you.
All right.
Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Putting myself in the buyer's shoes, it's number one, it's all the dirty starting work has been done. All the let me not use the word dirty. All the hard work that comes with starting a site has been done already. The concept has been well defined. Laser targeted keywords related to the electronics niche. That is well defined. So once I can see that, it means there is already a blueprint. It's clear. The blueprint is clear on how I can continue to grow the site. It's just a matter of digging up more keywords, laser target. So far, it's laser targeted and it's electronics related. Then it's a good reason to go for the site, especially since there is no limit to the number of keywords I can write on. There is no limit to the number of electronics products I can decide to write on. I would see it as a site that has a lot of potential. More importantly, I do not really have to lose a lot of sweat in order to continue, maintaining the site and making money from it. If I were to be the buyer, those are the things that would motivate me to buy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Well, Abbas, I feel like I've gotten through most of my questions here. Was there anything else that I might have missed that you'd like to add?
Okay, maybe this might just be of interest to the buyer. The site is presently valued at about $95,000 plus, and that was based on the last 5 months of earnings. And the sweet thing is that in the present month, this is March, already looking at what is already on ground, I'm estimating another $3,000, which means if Empire Flippers decide to continue using the 5-month average, by the end of this month, the value of the site, once this month passes over without any buyer picking it up, the interested buyers will have to pay around $10,000 more by next month, because the value stays the same, the income is stable, the traffic is stable as well. That's the only thing that comes to my mind right now.
So better to act soon rather than later.
All right.
Okay. Well, great, Abbas. I've enjoyed this conversation and definitely looking forward to seeing how things play out for you.
All right.
Thank you for your time and thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome, Sarah. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To check out more details on this business or to unlock the listing, visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47609.